Hey everybody, it's Daniel Cohn for Manifestation Monday. Hope you guys are doing awesome today. Um, Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend, and most of you probably have today off. I don't know, I'm assuming, since everyone's closed. But just going to jump right into Manifestation Monday for this week. Who am I? Who am I? That's the ultimate question, right? Most of us are really, in one way or another, just trying to find ourselves. And today I'm going to share more about who I am and my story and how I came into being a holistic health practitioner, how I came into the holistic lifestyle, and kind of what pushed me and what the last straw was really in the life that I pretty recently was living. So, come from a small town. I'll just jump right into it. I come from a small town on the central coast of California. Growing up, it was typical city life. I mean, small town life. You go to school, you go to the college, and then you go from there. And ever since a younger age, I mean, I have a brother and sister. They both kind of did whatever. They did what they do. My brother was pretty straight arrow. My sister is pretty not. And I was in between, middle child. So I grew up struggling with a mother with depression, a father that took care of us, but worked all the time. Sorry, notification, of course. Worked all the time and was never around, but was my biggest supporter. And let's fast forward to growing up. There was a lot of a tumultuous relationship in the family growing up, so there was that. But it was a good family life for the most part. Going through high school, I had regular struggles that we all probably have faced one time or another. Not knowing again, who am I? What am I supposed to do? And falling into the culture of I'm going to do what they're doing. And they'll like me. I'm going to do what these people are doing, or I'm just going to say, screw it all. I'm going to do whatever I feel like. And that's kind of where I realized back then something isn't right. You got 25 teachers here at high school telling 3,000 kids what to do, and everyone's sitting there doing exactly as they say. And I kind of broke away then. And that was my first kind of wondering what else is out there, wondering how life really works. Let's fast forward into college, my short stint. I just went straight into college locally. I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know what to pursue. Pretty soon I just started partying with my buddies. We drank, we smoked, we did all that stuff, for a good year. And then everything came crashing down. Some circumstances occurred where I got into some trouble when I was 18. And from there, that stemmed 10 years, 8.25 years of very extreme depression, PTSD, and things I struggled with every day. Anger and rage were huge parts of my life. You might not be able to tell now, but this is, again, who I was to who I am now, and really what pushed me into deciding I'm going to wake up. So, basically some really crazy things happened one after another that altered the course of my life. It's probably all started, I should go back right before I graduated high school. My father passed away from a heart attack, and that shook me up because he was my world. And so that kind of hit me here like, wow, if he was doing everything I thought you're supposed to do and he just died like that while I'm out with my friends, maybe I should take things he's told me and consider those things. So I went through that and struggled. I drank. I smoked weed. That was that following year of college where I did everything I could to not think about the reality that my dad was gone. I was confused, didn't know where I was headed. And this life is kind of seeming like it's filled with struggle. During that time, I also met a woman who I'm still with. I'm married to now, together 10 years, married for 5. And an amazing woman. Back then, we were both just lost trying to find our way. So I'm going to cut a lot of the fluff out and just get to really these turning points, which all of us have either had a turning point, are experiencing a turning point, or are about to, possibly. So my turning point was that year after that, after my dad passed away, where I just swung into a depression and really not feeling comfortable and safe in my environment, feeling like things would be taken from me subconsciously, scared to lose things, scared to lose opportunity, and I jumped right into working. Heavy labor work. I started in landscaping. I decided I didn't like foremen yelling at me and they're bullshit, so excuse my language, but it was bullshit. And so I ran my own company, started doing that. I was about the age 19, 20. Ran my own thing for a while and realized, why am I the guy pulling other people's weeds? I want to be the guy paying the guy to pull weeds, to cut things down, saying dig this hole, dig this hole. I don't want to be the one saying, okay, how deep? You know, what do I need to do? I don't want to be the one saying, well, does this work for you? Lowering my rates just to get by so someone with plenty of income can get a good deal. And I was tired of that. I was working 60 hours a week, probably usually more. Anytime I had the opportunity, I would take it, whether it was low paying or high paying, just to get as much as I could. And here's a turning point. I fell into the paradigm that my father had passed down to me and his father to him and many generations before that. These days, currently, is really the first time we're breaking down paradigms in the way things have been forever, as far as we can think back in our family. So there's the paradigm that if you work as hard as you can, and let's say we'll even go before that, you start and you go to college and you get something, then you work as hard as you possibly can. Then things are going to come to you and everything will be fine and you'll have the perfect family, 2.5 kids, the whole American dream. But the reality that I faced jumping onto that without question, or without wondering if that's really the truth, just going with it, is that I found myself extremely unhealthy, doing work I hated, coming home being an ass to my wife, and she became pregnant soon after I started my own company, so there was that. And I said, man, I'm going to have a kid. I need to work more, and my wife will be all right. So I was away from the house over here doing all this work, coming home late, wake up in the morning early and leave again, thinking my wife's loving me more and more the more I do this. And a year down the road, oh boy, my son is going to do so well because I'm just focused on work. Everything else doesn't matter. And I was living by the paradigm of what we call have, do, be. Once I have the money in my bank account and I have all these accounts squared away and clients, then I can do the family stuff and dedicate my love to myself and care for myself and then love my family. And then I'll be happy. So have, do, be. And that's how a lot of people live. Once I have that boyfriend or girlfriend, then I can do the fun things and have that relationship. Then I'll be happy. And we all live by this because it's society until you find that turning point. And that was mine, was like, so let's fast forward a few years down the road. Just a few years before now, today, I was sitting here and this was a big turning point. My wife looked at me and she said, you need to go. I was about to go on a business conference. She said, if you don't find out what it is you're looking for, because you're up in the clouds, you're angry, you're unhealthy, you're go, 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 go. You cannot stop. You talk in your sleep. You never stop. This work mindset, then we all need to figure out something that's going to work better. And shit, I was sitting there thinking, what? I'm working as much as I can, not turning down any job. I'm working for clients over here at this rate and clients over here at this rate just to get as much as I can because that's what my family wants. My family wants me to go and work. It doesn't matter if they see me, hear from me, get hugs from me, get love from me. It doesn't matter because I'm doing what I'm told to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to. The more I'm not with my family, the more they love me. And it was really this. I'm sitting there fucking hating what I was doing. I mean, essentially, It was wonderful being on my own, running my own business, yeah, but not in labor work, not holding chainsaws. I mean, if you see me, I was holding chainsaws the size of me, out there cutting trees in zones where I couldn't call out, and it cost more to have someone else with me, so I didn't do that. So dangerous. I didn't have insurance. It was check to check. I was sitting there taking checks from clients, stopping at the store for my wife and I and our son at the time, and coming home with like $10. And it was just after a 12-hour day. So I've had days I passed out on the job and then got up and had to push through. So if we can shift out of that and question things and say this is not for me, and I'm not going to go until I drop dead, like my father did, and like other members of my family and loved ones, we can change that. So finding who we are. And I try to keep these videos short. I know I'm already way past where I'd like to be. But this is just to say that I went to that conference and I did find myself and I found out, oh my God, it hit me. The more I do and focus on work alone, the farther my family gets. The more I focus on my family, the more money comes and I'm not even working for it. And we're doing this. I'm bonding with my family. The resources are coming from all different places I don't expect. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. And I came home and I said, look, I'm going to start dedicating my time to you guys first. I'm going to start addressing my eating and my health. I'm going to start resting. I'm going to start stopping my work and leaving it with work. I'm going to stop doing the labor work I've been doing. And I dropped all the stuff I was doing for clients. I mean, I stopped calling people back. I eventually did, but I just said, I'm done. This is what's been creating the struggle. I was used to struggle. I was used to lack. I was used to barely getting by. I was comfortable in that. I had mastered barely getting by. And I was comfortable with that. I didn't know what would happen if I was successful or if I took a risk and changed what I was doing. So I'm cool down here. Just fucking miserable, but alive. So that was my turning point. The risk of losing my whole family because I was doing what I thought was right. So now let's take a little peek at this new paradigm. What about be, do, have? I learned that if I could start being healthier, being happier, being more positive, then I could still do those things with my family. I could still do the work. And like I said, I started having things, and it wasn't even coming from where I thought it had to. I had people say, oh, this came around. If you could help me out, I'll compensate you. And it wasn't even hard things. It was just these weird circumstances. I literally was at a conference, got a call from my wife the last night, and I'm sitting there saying, yeah, the rental car broke down on the way. I'm going to head home tomorrow. Fingers crossed. She said, you got $1,000 check in the mail from a class action suit for a company you used to work for. Boom. I don't know about you, but $1,000 was helpful at that time. So, and I was just being what I wanted to be instead of waiting. And then I was doing what I wanted to do. I was saying, forget you people telling me, get a job, do this, do that. My post-traumatic stress disorder from the multiple life-threatening things that happened around age 18, I mean, that fucked me up. There's no other word for it. I wasn't able to go work for people when people would yell at me and bosses would say, you're not working hard enough. I'd black out. I'd say, well, I'm done. Or maybe a little more colorful language, but more or less I'd walk out that day. And that happened this time, that time, that time, that time. I'm starting to think, what's wrong with me? I'm a human. Why can't I work like everyone else? Am I that lazy or dumb or, broken? And I realized, no, it's the world that's broken and lazy and dumb. They don't want to deal with people in their real life. They just want the easiest person. They'll move to the next if you're not getting shit done. So I said, I'm going to create my own life. And I'm going to be what I want to be, do what I want to do, and then everything I want to have will come full circle. And now today I can say that after addressing all those things, I have a beautiful wife. I have 3 amazing boys who are healthy, and we are so holistic. We rarely, if ever, have taken them in except for basic checkups. And every time, these 3 boys have not, accumulatively they've all been sick with a flu or a cold or an earache, accumulatively between them all, probably 12 times in the 6 years we've had them all. So I addressed spending more time with my family. Resources started to come in, so I didn't have to go bust those crazy hours. I was able to start a course in health coaching and become certified. I was able to become certified as a meditation instructor. I was able to go through and become a Reiki practitioner working with energy work. All certifications I hold and have completed, and some I'm still working on, such as a graduate level life and health coach training. So I'm extremely healthy. My wife and I have everything we need right now and more, and things are still flowing to us, and we're sitting here. I'll have to say, some days we look at each other and we're like, how could this be? How could we have been struggling so hard? And it was just, who am I? Back then, we were what everyone told us we should be. What everyone told us wouldn't work, we didn't do. Now we are who we think we need to be, who we feel, living from spirit. Not from this. We're not living from this, taking our environment and then creating ourselves. We're creating ourselves and putting that out and creating our own environment. And if you think it can't happen, I have many, many, many people I know, including myself and my wife, who've done it, and it's all from different. I was a landscaper. I was making, just 2 years ago, when I was running my own businesses, I ended up doing ranch maintenance and tree and chainsaw work. And during that time, I was still, just 2 years ago, working for $16 an hour, working 12-hour days in a life-threatening job. One wrong move, I could lose limbs, I could have a tree fall on my head. And it was just to feed my family, and I was miserable doing it. Now, I probably put in, it's 20 hours a week, or give or take, as I'm still building this business. Still building myself, finding out who I am. But my health has never been better. My energy's never been better. My relationship with my wife and some family members that just a couple years ago I was not talking to has gotten better. My finances, abundance in my life, and just the beauty, being able to see the beauty in everything you have. And growing. I read books consistently. I couldn't explain to you, but just imagine what you dream of and have dreamed of being a reality, and it being so much easier than you think, but still taking dedication and hard work. So, message for today. I know I ran long. You guys got to get used to it. This is who I am, but I will keep it in mind to keep it a little shorter. So, I want to challenge you to think, what is your story? Have you been living in struggle and lack and desperation, as I quite recently was for so long, because your story is what other people have told you you're good at. What other people have told you is the way it is. How many times have we heard the cliche story we probably just go, roll our eyes at now, but someone gets, you got 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days to live, sir. So you need to make arrangements. Finish your stuff. And those people say, no, I'm not going to take that. And then 10 years down the road, they're still there. And that happens. That's a very simple, plain, layman version, although very powerful still. Things like that, you can change things. And it's all about who are you. And if you do not know, please, I challenge you to set up a session with me, a Reclaim Your Life session. And that's free. Your first session's free with me. We'll dig into and find ahas that you are right under your nose. Opening the perspective, having the added support and viewpoint and stretch that I'm able to bring from experience. I've had days just 2 years ago where I did not want to live. I thought, how could it get any worse than a 48-hour notice on my PG&E? No food in my refrigerator with 3 kids and a wife. No dog food for my 2 dogs. No gas in my car. Just sold my other car. How could it get worse? And now I'm here talking to you guys, able to do this, what I love. Spread self-love and empowerment to people to break this paradigm. I hate seeing my friends working 80 hours a week at gas stations, and that's why I do this. Is if I can't free them, I hope to be able to come back to my community and where I am now and bring back and give back by helping people see this can happen for them. So, key points. Who are you? And has your story been empowering or disempowering? And do you think that it's possible to change even one shift can change the whole trajectory? 2, be how you want to be. I want you to, just for a split second, this is more powerful if longer, but think into, let's say, a higher income, because that's generally something everyone wants. What if you had that $10,000 check $10,000 check you were depositing today? What would be the experience and the feeling? Would you have a tight chest? Would you feel relief? Would you feel like, man, now I can pay this? Now I want you to live into that. That's be. Be how you would be if you had what you want. Do the things you want to do. Don't ever let people tell you that won't work, you're too lazy, get a job. Fuck that. Break the paradigm. And then you will have. The universe is going to match that and say, wow, they're living and being just like they're rich. They're being just like they're loved. And they're going to bring that into your life. So, yet again, I've probably hit about a 30-minute video. Not quite sure. But this is more about who I am. And more to come in the future. And I would be so happy if people resonate with this. You know, I have beat now by addressing all the things I have through these modalities, through constant growth on myself. It's a daily work. But as the muscle gets used more and more, it builds and it gets easier and easier. So depression, anxiety. I had the worst anxiety. I've become, from going and being a disconnected, kind of short-fused dad to being engaged with my 3 boys, my wife loving the engagement I'm able to give and support, and being able to love myself and break the paradigm. I don't have to hold a chainsaw to be a badass motherfucking man. I can support my family and love my wife and change shit diapers all day, and that makes me a badass fucking man. I can do these videos and tell people my story and my pain, and tell people that I decided to say no to that, and that can make me a badass. So this is for men and women. You can break the paradigm and break the belief system that we're told and forced to believe, and on the other side of fear is success and opportunity. So I hope you guys have an awesome week. I really send positive energy and love and light to you guys in prosperity. Whoever watches this, whoever sees this, shout out to Derek Lacey. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment and thank you for the support. Shout out to my tribe, to all my people, and all the people that are still just watching my stuff, getting to know me. Life is amazing. It's not easy. It's a challenge. Just days ago I was sitting thinking, wow, even though things are exponentially better than months ago, there is still a consistent challenge to stay on top of it, but it gets easier. So until next time, you guys, have an awesome rest of the week. Have a good holiday. And please, love yourselves and make small changes. See how it feels. Do something uncomfortable. And realize who you are. Are you living from something you've created to keep yourself safe? Or are you living who you are and what you align with? Okay, Daniel Cohn, Deeply Rooted Coaching. Love and light.